Do you have trouble with your makeup wearing off after a few hours? And does it get worse in the summer heat? In today's video, we're going to talk about the one step in your makeup routine that celebrities and professional makeup artists agree is the secret to having their makeup last all day and all night. Hey everyone, this is Lisa. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Lisa Monique Beauty, where we cover all things beauty and lifestyle for the over 50 woman. So I've always tested makeup and foundations and given them a 4 to 6, maybe 5 to 7 hour wear test because pretty much that's all I needed my makeup to last. If I needed my foundation to last longer, I just used a longer lasting foundation like Estee Lauder Double Wear. But what if you don't want to have a bunch of different foundations on hand, or you want your favorite foundation to look just as good at the end of the night as it did when you applied it? The secret is using a setting spray both as you apply your makeup and also to finish it. So what is a setting spray? Well, it's basically hairspray for your face. In fact, before the 2000s, when setting sprays became all the rage, back in the 70s and 80s, people actually did spray their faces with Aquanet. But fast forward today, and there are a lot better ingredients and better options to spray on your face to get your makeup to last that won't build or crack like using hairspray. So a setting spray is usually comprised of 3 main ingredients: water, alcohol, and a polymer or film former to set your makeup. Now, there are a lot of setting sprays on the market today that are alcohol free, but most makeup artists will agree that those that use alcohol usually do control oil a little bit better, control the shine a little bit better, and make your makeup last a little bit longer. From a non-scientific perspective, I'm going to guess that the polymer or film that dissolves in the alcohol is probably a little bit more long-lasting than the polymers and films that are water-soluble. They'll also be more waterproof. But even the alcohol-based setting sprays now infuse all kinds of skin-loving ingredients in them, so that even though the alcohol absorbs or evaporates immediately when you spray it on your face, you are being left with some hydrating and skin-loving ingredients. So they tend not to dry your skin out unless you have a very specific allergy or sensitivity to the alcohol. So there are setting sprays that can absorb oil and are mattifying, and then there are also those that add hydration and have a more radiant or glowy finish. So I've been trying out a lot of them over the last couple of years, and today I'm going to go over the ones that I like for my mature, normal to dry skin. So how do you apply your setting spray? Again, professional makeup artists will use setting sprays in many different ways or throughout their makeup application process in order to get the makeup to set and last the longest. So we're just going to go over some of the ways you can use this setting spray. You don't need to use all of these ways to have your makeup last all night. But if you really want it to last the absolute longest, you might want to incorporate several of these steps. Now, the first step is you can just use it to prime your face. So you can just spray your face with a setting spray before you start any of your makeup application. It does kind of create a barrier between your skin and the oils your skin are producing and the makeup you're putting on top of it. So you're basically doing a setting spray sandwich. I don't usually do that because I like a dewier finish, but if you have oily skin, that would be a great way to keep the oil at bay, or at least tapping the setting spray over the oilier spots on your face, maybe right here, your T-zone, to help prevent the oil from breaking through your makeup. I have started using my setting spray in my concealer application, especially on my face, less so under my eyes, but on my face when I'm trying to cover my hyperpigmentation. I am using lighter foundations now that it's coming into the summer months, but I still need my hyperpigmentation covered. So I have been spraying setting sprays on my Stands Out Beauty Sponge. I do have a video on this whole process, which I will put up here and also be down in the description box below. But basically, you put on your concealer to cover your hyperpigmentation spots, and then you set with your sponge lightly sprayed with the setting spray and let that absorb before you start on your foundation phase. And in the summer, a lot of times I like to use foundations that have SPFs, which tend to be a little more glowy and a little more dewy on my skin than I like. Today I'm using the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue. This was an old favorite. I am testing it out again. It kind of fell out of favor because it did make my face too dewy and too glowy. So I am trying it again with the setting spray to see if I can make it work. So what I do is I dab it on my face, then I actually spray my foundation brush with the setting spray before I blend it in. Now, for all of these steps, I am using a mattifying setting spray. I'm using the NYX Matte Finish. It is a drugstore setting spray. It has a terrible spray. It's very hard. A lot of setting spray comes out, so you have to hold it quite a distance away from your sponge or your brush. I can't even use this directly on my face because it is too strong of a setting spray. But again, this one is mattifying. It is great for oily skin. And because I am using it with such a dewy foundation, I am using it to kind of create a more matte base and hopefully prevent this from getting too glowy and shiny throughout the day on my skin. You can also do the same technique with other products, with other cream products that you may use on your face, such as your cream blushes that might not last as long. So I do have a couple of easy for me to say. I do have a couple of cream blushes that I really like, but tend to fade off a lot faster. And so you can, once again, spray your makeup brush with setting spray before you blend out the cream blush and have it last a little bit longer on your skin. So these are steps where you're kind of building up the setting spray. You do want to make sure you're not using something that's too glowy for all these steps, because on the glowier, more radiant finish setting sprays, it does become shinier and shinier if you use too much setting spray. So I would tend to use a lighter setting spray or a mattifying setting spray during these steps during your makeup application. And then, of course, after you finish applying all of your makeup, you can set it. If I don't want to change the finish of my foundation, I really love to use the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. It is such a light, fine mist on the face, and I find that it does not change the finish of my foundation. You can also use setting sprays later on in the day if your makeup starts looking a little bit dull. Sometimes just adding a little spritz of setting spray does freshen up the finish. And then even though you don't put more makeup on or put more foundation on, it actually makes you look like you have freshly applied foundation or makeup. Okay, so let's go over some of my favorite setting sprays. We're going to start with those that are alcohol-free. So the first one is the Milk Hydro Grip Set and Refresh Spray. This one you need to shake up. It will separate. You'll have two different layers. You'll have a blue agave layer, which is the hydrating layer, and then you'll have the green cannabis layer, which is your glowy skin or glowy layer, and they activate when you mix them together. This one is really nice just to refresh your makeup during the day. It does really hold your makeup well. It does have a glowier, a glassy glow finish. So it's great if you're using over a really matte foundation like your Estee Lauder Double Wear or anything like that, or even a powder foundation that you want to try and add a little more radiant finish. I wouldn't necessarily use it over a radiant or glossy finish foundation unless you're trying to go for that extra dewy look. Usually in the summer, I want it to be glowy but not wet or really dewy. So this one I would use over a flatter, drier foundation. So the next one is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This one is a beautiful setting spray. It is also alcohol-free. It is a clean makeup. It is hydrating. It has Japanese green tea to support the natural moisture barrier, and it has an aromatic resin which blurs the appearance of pores. It is vegan and cruelty-free. It does have fragrance though. It is a beautiful floral scent, and it is a really nice spray. It's really, really pretty. It, again, has a little bit more of a radiant finish, so if you're putting it over something really dewy, it can sometimes lean towards the shiny. Okay, my favorite alcohol-free setting spray is the Morphe Continuing Mist. Let's see, what does this have? It is infused with vitamins E and B5 and fruit extracts. It is such a fine, fine mist. Like, you know, we say that these are a fine mist setting spray. This is the most fine out of all setting sprays. It is so light and airy. You can go zigzag, you can do a T, you can circle it, you can do all three, and you're not going to have any wet spots on your face. Also, this one does not change the finish, in my opinion, at all. So I think they might claim that it's a radiant finish. Yeah, so it says radiant finish on the website, but I don't find it has a radiant finish. Again, this is the one that doesn't change my finish at all. It's only $16, and a lot of times, not a lot of times, once or twice a year, I've seen it on sale on the Morphe website, and I've purchased several cans of it at 50% off, so $8 a can when it does go on sale. But even $16 for such a large 2.8 ounces of product, I think is a really, really good deal. Okay, next let's talk about some setting sprays with alcohol. Why would you want alcohol in your setting spray if there are all these non-alcoholic versions? It makes it sound like a drink. But the reason being is the setting sprays with alcohol tend to last the longest and be the most waterproof and sweat proof. Surprisingly, most of the drugstore brands are the ones with the alcohol. Another granddaddy setting spray, and one of the most popular that people, influencers, makeup artists all swear by, is the Urban Decay All Nighter. Sweat-proof, waterproof. It is one of the most effective setting sprays out there to make your makeup last all day. Another one that I really like is the e.l.f. Stay All Day. It is a blue light micro setting spray. You definitely want to shake it up. Got the little bead in it to shake it up. And this one I like. It's not a ton of product coming out. It's a light mist. This one, they say it also protects skin by absorbing harmful blue light from your tech devices. It has aloe to soothe and protect and provide anti-inflammatory benefits. It has elderflower extract, which also smooths for a healthy looking complexion. So again, even though it does contain alcohol, it has a lot of skin loving ingredients that are left behind to help smooth and moisturize your skin. And then the other one is the one I already talked about. It is the NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray, and this one also has niacinamide to absorb oil and leave a poreless finish. Again, I spray directly on my brush or my sponge versus trying to spray this one on my face. This one is really good for oily skin. Again, it would be a really good one to kind of set the T-zone before you even start applying your makeup to lock it against oil from shining through. But I have normal to dry skin, and I use it in my makeup application, and it is not dry or cakey. But I don't set my makeup overall with this one. I do use one that is more infused with skin-loving ingredients for all over my face. I have found that the foundations that typically last 4 to 6 hours, that might get me just through lunch, will last 6, 8, 10 hours. I have found once I started layering my setting sprays, my makeup looks just as good at night as it does in the morning. So I really find setting sprays are extremely effective when you need your makeup to last all day, especially if you're using a foundation that contains a sunscreen or a cream foundation. I really feel that you need to set those to help them look good from morning to night. So let me know what you think about setting sprays. If you have some favorites that I have not mentioned, if you do have some favorites, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below, because it helps other viewers that like to sift through the comments get some other recommendations. If you tell what the setting spray is and what the skin type is, or why you like using that one, why you specifically like using that one, that would be extremely helpful. If you haven't watched it already, you can see this video on how I use the setting sprays to help my concealers last all day. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.